What's going on, everybody? It's Spark here and welcome to today's video. Today we are finally going to ditch that pesky racing line assist. I've been waiting to do this one for a while, but I wanted to get my team season finale done out of the way, just so we can lose what, for me, the final assist. If you're new around here, then obviously do hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell icon. I'm looking to get to 100 subscribers before the new game comes out, and I'd love to get every bit of support that I can get. Thank you guys so much, obviously, for checking out this video. The key thing is we're going to ditch Racing Line for good. That's gone. Get in the bin. I don't want to see you around these parts anymore. We're going to pick a track that we've already set I think a okay-ish time on, and we are going to try and beat it or get within a tenth of it by the time the video ends. And we're going to pick Brazil. I've put some footage together over me just sort of practicing, and I'm going to just try and encapsulate all that within the, say, about this sort of 10 minutes-ish video. Let's get to it. Okay then, as we set off on our first lap, let's look to the braking boards. We're going to use the 50, just beyond the 50, and you see there's a little bit too far from the 50-meter braking board. It probably shows I need to be braking probably just after. I think I left it too late after that to brake off of that braking point. Because coming down to the next corner, normally the 50 is a good one for there as well. We brake on there, but we get a little bit too far wide and we've lost time. I think the lap's invalidated, but this is not about setting the fastest time on the first lap. This first lap is simply about finding my footing and using the 50 there as a turning point as well as braking board. That was rather good, and that leads us straight into the second right-hander, which was pretty decent there. Left-hander there. All you can do is just sort of feel your way through there, and this one is a little bit tricky there. I had to use the curb on the right-hand side just before I turned that as a reference point there. Going down into the last corner, you brake just before the 50-meter braking point. And as you can see, we're not quite getting there in terms of our best time. I know it's not the fastest time in the world anyway, but the key thing here is not about doing it all in one lap. It's about just gradually building our way up and looking to beat this time. So there we go. In that first lap there, we pretty much found our footing, the platform we need to build off of. And coming down into the next lap, and this one was a little bit tricky. I'll brake a little bit beyond the end of the curb, and that just about gave me, I think that was an ideal exit out of that tight right-hander there. So it's pretty good for us. As coming down by the second lap, we shaved that by about half a tenth, so we're only 6 tenths down now from our best as opposed to 1.2 seconds, which within 2 laps we're pretty close to beating our best, so that's looking relatively good for us. Let's see what happens if we come down to the next turn. What do we choose? Okay, so really in between that piece of tarmac and the 50-meter point is going to be our reference point here. And we don't quite invalidate time, we invalidate the lap, but we go on to lap 4 just to see what progress there. We take up too much curb, and there we go. Oh, we go a little bit wide, and that's just ruined our momentum there. Let's try this again, shall we? So we're a little bit resty in there. They probably take a bit too much curb, but that just sets us off completely. And we really have to be so far from the curb as we can. But turning in there just kind of comes a little bit naturally. Almost comes always through feel a bit by reference point, so you're just gonna have to do the and I got a little bit of white there. Right, so we've done about 4 or so laps worth of practice. I feel like I'm getting there now. I'm just trying to cut in between each kind of grind every lap as to every video, just so it can flow a little bit more. So I need to get it all within the space of about 10 or so minutes, and I'm trying not to waffle on too much. First sector though is really good. We're only about a few hundreds off our personal best, actually 3,000 off compared to the Delta. Exit off of there was really good, and let's see what we can do. Okay, so we brake much later there, but doesn't quite do this, and we're too aggressive on the throttle, and it just spins us out completely. Okay, let's get around to trying a new lap here, and we're going off the final turn, and no, that's not what I needed. Right, let's give this another try. First corner, I pretty much know where to brake. Just beyond that braking point, the 50-meter board. And there we go, that's lovely. And we look at the Delta, we actually made up a 10th from our best on the racing line. So we're really making some good progress already so far with this lap. And it just depends on where we choose to brake next time. Okay, so in between that piece of tarmac and the 50-meter board, it's probably for me the ideal place to brake. We're going into turn 4. As we come up the hill, go past the 50-meter board just about there or thereabouts, and that gives us a pretty good mark in which to turn in. But we go way too wide for that right-hander there. We go beyond. Okay, I need to figure out a braking point coming for that. Oh, no, we're too much on the power there. Okay, let's try this one again. See, that braking point is quite hard to observe. So as you see, we brake just as that curb starts on the right. And as you can see, that's way too early. So we need to go beyond that for the next braking point. As we start the next lap, things a little bit smoother, a little bit tidier there. So at that point, we're really starting to get this first point nailed. Okay, that was quite... Oh, no, that wasn't really nice at all. Okay, let's try this one again. I've got this one nailed now, so I'm not too worried if we go a little bit faster or slower. I'm comfortable, which is the important thing. I was, like you said before, up on our delta. Okay, we brake at the 50-meter board this time, and that actually, you know what? That didn't actually work out too bad for us. So we'll go now into the long right-handers. We've got that pretty much nailed, but we go wide, and that just offsets us completely. Still trying to figure out where I need to brake there, but as you can see, we take the left-hander without too many problems. Okay, so it's really the tarmac on the right, on the left, coming into that right-hander. It's the tarmac on the left that I'm using now as my next reference point. So brake just before the 50-meter board there, and that wasn't too bad. Lap 6, we're only about a tenth or so underneath our best time. So slowly and surely, we are making progress, and it won't be long. We actually put our foot on the grass there, which makes it very, very hard. And there we go, we lost the back end, and we've spun it yet again. This is becoming a test of my sanity. Not that I had much of it anyway. As we go down to lap 8, we're riding the curb way too much. We get onto the grass, and we're going to be paying for that pretty much immediately. Oh, man. Okay, let's try this one again. Got the line there, too much curb there, but oh, we've lost it again. So much spinning in this video already. Okay, so I think this has got to be the one. Okay, turn in early, braking point nailed, good, turn in at the right point. It's really through feel you got to get the center S's right. As we come out there, we're about a tenth up on our best. Okay, so in between, okay, we brake at the 50-meter board, which is fine. We understeer a little bit, but we're still up on our delta, which is the all-important thing. Let's try the... Okay, so we go beyond the 50-meter board, so it's really about 30 or so meters just before. Okay, so almost just before the curb on the right starts there, we've got that braking point nailed. Okay, look for the piece of tarmac on the left. Okay, so we broke almost just before it ended, so that gave us a pretty good reference point there. Go down to the final turn, and here we go. Where do we brake? Okay, so it's about 60 meters we brake, and we go a little bit wide. It looks like we're losing our delta at the best. We're going to lose it. No, we're going out. But what are we going to do? We are going to hug the inside as much as we can. And like the Red Bulls, we cross the pit lane entry, but we get no penalty. But we come through the line. Yes, we did it. We got through. We got us our best time so far, and actually beating our time on lap. So I'm just going to take you through that lap now, just so you can see what I use. So go past the 50, and then brake. Get off the get back on the tarmac just before the grass, and we pretty much got that braking point nailed. So really it's about 40 odd meters before the corner. That's when you need to start braking and start trail braking into that left-hander up until the next big braking zone on the corner. So there we go. It's just actually at the 50 where I brake, which does give me a little bit of understeer, so you might want to brake a little bit earlier than what I did there. Let's come up now into the long right sweeping right-hander, and as you'll see through this shot, yeah, we just go through. We actually turn in just before we get on the brake. We don't slam full on though, because we need to carry the exit speed there. And we brake long before that curve actually. So I think we have to see it at like a certain point. So if we're about like half a second or so away from it, that's the ideal time where to brake. So looking at the tarmac on the left, we brake just about, we're about halfway before clearing that piece of tarmac on the left. So we brake at that point. As we come down now into the final corner, this is where we found the last braking point, which almost caught me off. And as we braked there, it was actually about 70 meters before we come off, before we go on to the brakes. And there we go. That kind of leaves us up towards the final shootout, the final run up. And as you'll see from before, we're trying to just maximize the track wherever we can just so we can make up time. But thankfully it was good enough to break the lap record. So I think for me, kicking that racing line assist, it really comes down to 3 key tips in which to do this. The first one, get to know the track. So I deliberately picked Brazil because I felt like it had enough kind of mix of like high speed, low speed, it had plenty of straights, and I also felt it was quite tricky for reference points as well. But I think because I knew, I was able to feel where the car was able to do instead of always relying on some form of reference point, whether that's through muscle memory or through something on the track. So I would say that's the first key trick, get to know the track. The second one is obviously use the braking points, whatever reference points that you can. Then you're not just restricted to the braking meter boards as well. You could use anything on the track. Like for example, like coming up to the end, coming up to turn 4, I was also using that sort of like bit of grey, bit of like sort of tarmac just in front of the 50 meter braking point as a reference point in itself, and that really helped me, I think, get an ideal line through that corner. We've gotten down to the third key tip, which is without a doubt the most important, and it's it's going to sound simple once I say it to you, but just practice. Practice, 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 practice. I don't think I can say it enough. The reason why practice is so important, you develop a real muscle memory. Like for me, if I'm using a wheel, I have enough kind of muscle memory to recognize where I am on the track and just sort of anticipate what the car's going to do. That does work on a pad. It does sort of work to extent to a pad as well. I did race on a pad before I went to wheel, but I did have kind of an instinct even there on the pad for how much to turn in just by driving the track over and over and over again. Another thing I'll mention as well is that you're going to spin at some point, so don't get bogged down by the fact that you make mistakes. Just accept that you make them, and you will get over them over time. So from there, that's the key sort of tips really to go with braking points. I'll probably follow up this video now that I've kicked every single assist on this game. I will probably end up doing a video about how to kick each one, just to take this kind of thing a little bit further, and that's something I really feel like it would help people who are looking to kick those particular assists as well. I'm looking to do it ideally before the new game comes out, but even though the car handling is going to be different, there's a lot you can carry over. It's just the degree of practices like trail braking or short shifting that may very well change with the new cars. But I hope that future video for assists will kind of give a lot of universal tips and how to kick them for future games. So with that, guys, I'm going to bring this video to an end. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it and found it useful, then do let me know in the comments. And if you're new around here, subscribe and hit the notification bell icon as well. And once again, let me know how you guys get on in getting rid of that racing line once and for all, and how you proceed into the no assist group of racers on this game. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Spark, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.